Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alex, Senior Account Executive at GDMFX with your morning European session outlook. We'll start with the North American markets. We had the ADP employment change, which came out 2,000 better than expected. The trade balance came out with a surplus of 0.30 billion. Market services PMI 0.2 better than expected, and market PMI composite 0.5 higher than previous. Last news is ISM non-manufacturing PMI 2.6 points better than expected. We also had Fed's Yellen Speech. She said yesterday that the central bank may start raising short-term interest rates as its December policy meeting, as the US economy is performing well. If the incoming information supports that expectation, then our statement indicates that December would be a live possibility. The bullish tone was the main reason for the upward movement of the Dixie. The ADP employment change number helps support the bullish trend and give a good indication for tomorrow's NFP. The Dow and the Nasdaq were both sideways. The Dixie is up to 97.91 from 97.27. Biggest mover in the currency pairs was the USD against the Canadian dollar, 9 points up, and then the second biggest mover was USD against the Japanese yen, 4 points up. We have for today Tier 2 news, another speech by Fed's Stanley Fischer. We have the initial jobless claims, and from Canada, IV Purchasing Managers Index. Alright, in Europe, we had market services PMI data from all around Europe yesterday. From the Eurozone, it came out 0.1 points worse than expected. The German, 0.7 worse than expected. The French, 0.4 worse than better than expected. And the Italian, 0.2 worse than expected. We also saw the Eurozone's market PMI composite come out with 0.1 points worse than expected. The main highlight for yesterday was Mario Draghi's speech. He spoke at the ECB Forum on Banking Supervision in Frankfurt. He summed up the performance and prospects of the single currency supervisory mechanism, which has now been running for a year. Draghi also urged policymakers to complete the integration of the European banking sector with Europe-wide mechanisms for ensuring customer deposits and winding up failed banks, adding that the reforms are a prerequisite for financial stability. Draghi also speaks today in Milan. In the UK, the services PMI leapt to 54.9 in October from 53.3 in September, rising for the first time since June. The FTSE 100 index added 0.5% to 6,412.88, closing at the highest level in a week. Traders are already getting prepared ahead of the deluge of information set to hit the Bank of England's second Super Thursday, as it's called, of macroeconomic news. In the last big set-piece UK monetary policy event of the year, we will get the latest interest rate decision, minutes of the latest monetary policy committee meeting, including the voting breakdown, the quarterly inflation report, which includes updated forecast and commentary on the Bank of England's latest thinking on the outlook for the economy, and a press conference from the Bank of England Governor Mark Carney. Most attention will be focused on the outlook for inflation, while the continued slump in the commodity markets means that the short-term inflation numbers are likely to be revised down. That is not necessarily the case a bit further out, however. Alright, on to the Asian and Pacific markets. We had the Bank of Japan meeting minutes. It seems that the Japanese economy remains on pace. This was the main highlight of the minutes yesterday. Risks to the outlook include developments in the emerging and commodity exporting economies, the prospects regarding the debt problem and the momentum of economic activity and prices in Europe, and the pace of recovery in the US economy, the minute said. The members added that inflation is expected to remain close to flat for the foreseeable future because of weak energy prices. Overnight, Governor Kuroda will have a speech Friday early in the European morning. We also had Governor Stevens' speech from Australia. Australia's central bank governor Glenn Stevens said accommodative monetary policy is likely to be appropriate for some time yet, while adding the macroeconomic impact of recent mortgage rate increases by major banks may not be large. It seems likely that an accommodative stance will be appropriate for some time yet, Stevens said. We're a change to monetary policy to be required in the near term. It would almost certainly not be easing. It would most certainly be an easing, not a tightening. Alright, for commodities, we had the crude oil stocks change inventories, which rose by 2.847 million barrels in the week ended October 30th. Futures held on losses after the data. This had an effect on the price as it went sharply downwards. Another important fact is that China is supposed to become the biggest US trading partner this year, eclipsing Canada for the first time as the slump in oil prices reduces the value of energy exports for America's neighbor to the north. Gold had a range of $17, trading at $1,108 now. Silver had a range of 28 cents at $15.03 now. Crude oil had $2 range at $46.38 now, and natural gas is trading at $2.24 at the moment with a range of 6 cents. Today we have the natural gas storage change. And that is all for today. Thank you for the attention. I will see you next time. Goodbye.